I started having problems as far back as when I was a toddler. I never realized that those were not normal things that had happened to me until I was an adult and was diagnosed and learned about the disease. But even as a toddler, I remember if something would upset me, I had one specific animal that I would hold, and all I would do was rock myself back and forth for hours, making a really strange noise, and that was how I coped with problems. As I got older, I'm talking only about 6 years of age, I became convinced that my mother was going to die, and so I started sleeping with a knife in my bed. And every night, most every night, I was looking for an excuse to be able to go into my parents' bedroom and make sure that she was still breathing. So I knew I would get into trouble if I went and woke my mom up every night. So I had a habit of banging my head into the wall until my nose would start bleeding, so that I could go in and see if my mom was breathing. And then if she woke up, I would be able to say that I came in because I had a nosebleed. So as a teenager, then I became very distant, got into a lot of trouble, got involved with drugs and a lot of things, just anything I could do not to have to think about having any feelings. When I was 16 years old, I met who is now my husband, and right from the start, there were huge issues with my behavior. I have gone after him with a butcher knife in a fit of rage. I physically assaulted him on several occasions, and just had very, very erratic behavior, which at the time we kind of accredited to thinking that it's because I did a lot of drugs during my teenage years, and maybe, I was just sort of getting over that. And it wasn't then until I had my second child, I became extremely depressed after she was born, and I started reliving a lot of childhood memories that bothered me, and it was the first time that I actually had to be treated, and I was then put on an antidepressant, which was being used at that time, and that was 22 years ago. After that, things over the next few years really went downhill. I had another baby, and after he was born, my first child, who was 3.5 at the time, started having some emotional problems, and he had a habit of, he just had screaming fits, and he would scream and scream and scream for hours, and there was nothing you could do. And I knew something was really wrong with me when one day I couldn't handle the screaming anymore. So I picked up a pillow and I put it over him. And it was only for a few seconds, and I realized what I was doing. And I stopped, and I just broke down. I was so upset because I knew that those children were everything to me, and in effect, I tried to smother him for a few seconds before I came to my senses. So I knew something was really wrong. And I continued on with going to doctors and being treated for depression, but nothing really helped. About 7 or 8 years after that incident, that I had my first real breakdown, to the point where I had to be hospitalized. I wasn't able to function at all. I was extremely depressed, and it was following a manic episode. During that episode, I was spending money that we did not have. I went out and decided to buy myself 3 horses. And we didn't live on a farm or anything like that, so I just kind of brought them home. And yeah, it was pretty, upsetting for my husband. That was a lot of money. And following that manic episode, I had my first real crash, and I was hospitalized, and I did not even come out on a day pass for 3 months. I had so many different behaviors. I could go from being very depressed to becoming enraged and smashing up the hospital room and then I would go into and be catatonic and be completely not responding to anything. And so they tried a number of different things, and eventually I ended up on a huge drug cocktail. I had found a doctor that was very proactive. She was a mood disorder specialist. She then diagnosed me as being a rapid cycling bipolar disorder with schizophrenic tendencies and also with obsessive compulsive disorder. And in her training and in her thinking, she felt that a very aggressive treatment with high doses of a combination of antipsychotics, anticonvulsants, antidepressants were the way to go. And as a result of that drug therapy, I gained 100 pounds within just a few months. I became a diabetic, eventually needing 5 injections of insulin a day. My liver became enlarged, and my liver enzyme blood tests came back extremely elevated. I was on so much medication, including very high dosages of sedatives, that for about 3 or 4 years I spent 20 hours a day in bed. I only got up to eat and to go to the bathroom. At that point, I couldn't even have a shower. I would go for a month and not have a shower. I couldn't function at all. All I did was lie in bed, and I remember the ceiling tiles in the bedroom because I counted them over and over and over. And that was what I did. I completely missed out 3 years of raising my children, 3 very important years because they were just coming into their teenage years. And my husband had a full-time job, and he was also raising 3 children, and he had a patient in the home that needed intensive care all of the time. And we just wanted to get away and get to where it was not as populated, and just we thought maybe would be a better environment for us all around. And as we started to meet some people in that area, we met someone who knew someone who knew someone that had heard about this program. And that's really how I found out about it. These people got me a phone number. I called that phone number, and that got me in touch with the Truehope people. And I started the supplements, and within a 2-month period, I was a different person. My physical health is amazing. I consider myself to be fit. I've lost 60 of the 100 pounds that I gained on the medications. I'm no longer diabetic. I haven't used insulin in years. I'm not on any medications or on a special diet for diabetic reasons. My liver has regenerated back to normal health. I'm got some of my hair back, not all of it, but a lot of it. EMPowerplus has been the biggest change for the positive in my life. It's allowed me to be an actual friend and partner to my husband, who stuck with me through times that I'm not sure I could have stuck with him if it had been the reverse situation. I feel like I can be the soulmate that I know we are to each other. I, for the first time, now have a job that I'm very passionate about and that I think I'm very good at. And I'm back in school, getting more education. I feel like my life is just beginning. It's just incredible. I feel like a little kid in the candy store. I feel like there's all these options for me, and I'm so thrilled that I'm well enough, I'm healthy enough, and I'm able to take advantage of what's out in life. And I just feel like I'm just getting the first taste of it. It's amazing.